40. I'm going to start restreaming. 3, 2.
Connecting.
You're live, man. Oh, wait, I need transition. So
Hey. Hey, welcome to the Tale of the Tape live at Dragon Con. This is a little different because we have so many people here. We actually have your live stream going on at the other end of the room.
All the way over there.
So there's a lot of stuff going. Oh yeah, Jameson goes over there. Lucy's over there. We got all sorts of crazy people here. But yeah, we got Casey, and we got Trey and Greg, the creators of BattleBots. If you don't know that, well, welcome to the club.
Poison Arrow?
Yeah, he's from Poison Arrow.
Yeah, I'm Casey.
Yeah, you got to know this by now. If you know what the rake is, you know who he is. Because you
It was not effective
did the rake.
on
Yeah.
Poison Arrow.
Dang
No.
it.
It was attempted.
It was attempted.
It was
a good attempt.
really
It was
close.
Well, you guys learned the lesson, which was the only thing that you could do, which is just
Survive.
stay away.
Yeah.
All you have to do is stay away from
just-
the rake,
yeah.
and you won't be
There was
subjected to
there
the
was
rake.
there was a lot of coaching with Gabe because he was like, man, I think I could just get in there. We're like, don't even think about it. Don't get cocky. No, you're not gonna win. So yeah, he really wanted to get in there. So, but it's good.
Well, you ended up beating us, and we gave you
By a miracle.
we gave you the surrogate rake to carry on the tradition. And you ended up going up against Bombshell, who's on your stream now.
Yeah.
Why don't we go straight to the Poison Arrow Bombshell fight, so I can have some revenge.
Yeah, I think our luck ran out on that definitely. So
you know, the real challenge with Bombshell is that they've got so many different weapons. How do you? There's not much you guys do to change anything. So
no.
Did you know they were going to go with the disc?
We had a hunch. Like we kind of ran some of the numbers. We were really hoping that their last fight that the disc was it was done because they were having problems with it spinning. And look at it, it's just sitting there.
yeah, that's an issue.
But the sacrifice of the drone is
That
pretty
was
heroic.
That was so
the
amazing.
hardest thing that we've ever made him do. So Gabe put so much time in it, and we're all just frantically like, what do we do?
Here it is.
And then it was like, Gabe crushed the drone.
You're being counted out.
Yeah,
It was very kamikaze.
yeah.
It wasn't strategically.
Here it goes.
Where if I looked at it, and I
Oh,
was going to do
that
that,
was- I mean, that was
go in there
valiant.
and try to do something with it.
Yeah,
But then he goes in,
Now-
and Mike goes in and hits you, and then you
Heat of
back
the
me.
moment.
yeah.
Mike's here.
How are you?
Mike, pull a chair up.
Hello.
Hey, Andrea. Hey. Oh man, we got all sorts of people. Here,
Yeah.
come on, get in here.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you oh man, you have to start.
Yeah.
over. Well, yeah. So
Gotta watch it.
okay, you have to watch it again. No, this is fun.
But how good of a sportsman is Bombshell to knock you
So
guys back?
it was like the most stressful moment.
I think
like
it was
seeing-
accidental.
So like we told Gabe just the idea was to try to get the drone like a little bit of momentum. We were thinking it just needed just enough to either bump it, or we were totally willing to just set the drone like, Mike, you can have it. Take the drone, but you have to knock the robot off. It
Right.
was like, we'll give you this.
So you were communicating on the stage.
We were so as soon as we crashed the drone in, I run back and I just yell, Mike, knock us off! You got this! Just like, let's keep it going. We wanted to keep the show going, and that's the drone.
It made the fight so much better. 'Cause it was kind of
Yeah.
wham bam. You guys got knocked out super quick.
Yeah.
And then for Bombshell, for you guys to have that communication with Bombshell to do that.
Well, I
Yeah.
think he
Made that
was
fight
actually
great.
going after the drone.
Well, of
He
course,
thought-
we
He
totally.
was going after the drone and accidentally hit you and knocked you back in.
I totally agree with you.
I don't think it had any intent to actually.
But it's
So,
didn't
yeah.
matter.
And then as soon as it goes behind the screw, I mean, like I think our expressions, like we're all like laughing at this point because it's like so comical that like it's checkmate. You can't come back from that. So yeah, laughing.
It shows how small Poison Arrow is, though, that it can just sit there and not interfere with the screws at all.
Yeah.
What was the final weight on poison arrow?
So it was 200. So we had 10 pounds in the drone, and then we had 10 extra pounds of the tail in there. So 230-ish.
230.
So
So you actually design your robots underweight? That's pretty crazy.
So
we're like 251.
So the problem, so like we've done enough like building robots overweight. So like I got started back in the old BBIQ days. So like
we were overweight there too.
yeah, and I remember like I learned the whole art of drilling speed holes.
Yeah.
And like just removing entire sections of frame and
Unnecessary bolts.
Exactly. Yeah. You get really creative, and so. Because we built, like, the big thing that we built, that drum, 70 pounds of S7 tool steel. It's like, there's no weight coming out of that. Like, it's not coming out easy. So,
What was the whole, and you might have explained this before, but what was the whole 12-second thing?
so we figured it out. So the problem that we had was the motor controllers that we were using, they're brushless controllers, so it was a brushless motor. And the problem that we were having was the switching frequency. That we were switching the windings on this motor. It was actually too slow. And so what happens is the slower you switch, the higher they call it a ripple current. And so we had a 1,000 amp ripple current running across this motor. And so what happens is when the motor controller saw this, the motor controller was constantly going, oh no, we're done. So the motor controller was doing its job and shutting down and preventing the fire. So that's another thing we've learned, just over the years. It's just like, when your robot burns to the ground, it's like, it's the worst thing ever.
It really sucks.
So like mechanical things, it's like you can kind of fix it. Like you can throw another motor in, you can throw like new gears and belts, but when the thing burns to the ground, it's like starting over.
Well, it happened
So-
to Helichopper twice.
Yeah,
at the event.
and
the first time they miraculously got it back together. I was
did.
amazed.
Yeah.
It happened 3 times.
Oh well, yeah. It did catch fire. I think the second time it wasn't catastrophic.
Well, we're
Yes.
having stream issues where they're not seeing it on live.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, are you connected to internet or are you connected to cell phone?
I've tried both.
I'm on Wi-Fi and he's
Because the
I find the
upload
Wi-Fi
is
he's chatting with people in the room.
Yeah.
I mean, Will, your whole MO has just been fuck it, keep going.
well. Don't say that word.
Sorry.
It's Twitch.
Yeah.
I figured
So-
it's Twitch. It's not.
Well, it's still recorded, so yeah, we'll keep going.
Yeah, record it and then we'll
Yeah,
play
there's
it
more
on
views
YouTube.
on YouTube anyway.
Yeah. Watch on
Sorry.
YouTube
Yeah,
later.
yeah.
There you go.
YouTube
Action.
Yeah, actually. So proceed. Yeah. So the motor was essentially running into this current limit issue, and so the only way that we could figure out how to protect it from this, this shutdown condition was we actually had to physically slow the ramping of the motor, and so we started out the season at 12 seconds, and if you guys probably all saw us in the box, we'd go in the test box anytime we could, and we were trying to tune everything possible, and we kept getting the manufacturer said just use the auto settings. We're like, man, I don't know.
Right.
So we kept using the auto settings and we kept tuning and doing all these things, and I think by the end of it we got it down to 9 seconds. That was about the fight with you
Yeah.
guys.
Well, meanwhile, they're helping us with ours because we're having the same
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah.
So we're all like trying to fix the same issue.
Yeah, we all have
between
the
all
same
3
speed controller.
robots.
Yeah.
So this is the reset of the speed controller. So
Yeah.
the speed controller would reset if
Well,
the
it's like-
So it's
like an
it's
auto
it-
shutdown.
yeah. So it's
Yeah.
it's a shutdown. So it's
a
trying to
safety
protect
thing.
itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And so then we got back, from the event, and you just kind of like you decompress, and then you're like, okay, let's look at what's broken. And finally, we took the whole robot apart. We found the bearings. They were nice. So that Sonowachi hit, there were nice little pits all the way around the bottom of the bearing. So
Roller bearings.
yes, yes, it was beautiful. It was like somebody just like stamped it in there. It was like
Yeah, you did that
Waiachi
to
just said, "Hello, we're
Yeah.
here."
Yeah, you did that to us.
Beautiful.
So we
I'll send you
calculated
photos.
about 8 feet. It
Okay.
seemed to
Yeah.
get about 8 feet in the air.
Yeah.
It's not a lot. So
That was
to lift
amazing.
250 pounds at a dead stop,
Yeah.
8 feet, the amount of energy that you transferred. I mean, both you transferred
Yeah.
energy equally, except
It-
his was.
Yeah, it was incredible. Like we talked to the Waiachi guys beforehand, and so I believe Jack sent out text messages to tell, oh, who's fighting who.
In the middle of the night.
And and we saw ours, and we saw Sanawayachi. And we're like, this is our first time at BattleBots, and we drew Sanawayachi first round. And so we went to the beach. We were like, well, I mean, the robot is prepared. Like, it's as prepared as it will be. And we're just like, well, what do we do? And so we try to strategize, and it's everything we thought of. It was just like, but Sanawayachi's just going to hit us really hard. And so then we just kind of accepted it. And so we said, we talked to the Wayachi guys, and we're like, hey, we really respect you guys. This has been such an awesome experience already. And we're just like, if we're going to go out, can we just go out with a huge bang? And so we said, we know that our drum takes a while to spin up. Will you let us spin up all the way? We'll let you spin up as fast as you want. Like, both of us, we just one big hit and just lay it all on the table and see what happens. And that was the result. And our reactions in it, the most genuine thing, I mean, I'm just like losing it because the first thing is you see the sparks and the box. There's stuff everywhere. There's like bars and people and
lights and
so
camera
there's just so much intensity going on, and you see the spark and it's like, okay, it's all over. All right.
I mean, they are.
I'm dead.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm not dead.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
All they do is spin around. You have an option.
Yeah.
And nobody in their right mind, I mean, in my opinion, would take that option. You go, oh, let's use the other side. Even, the experts, people have been doing this forever, like, oh, let's turn around, let's try to slow them down, let's try to use our bumper or wedge, whatever, and then we'll turn around and get the weapon. So to take that first, I mean, I can see it being kind of brilliant because that's when you have your most energy. That's when you're fresh. That's when that speed controller failsafe is less likely to go into its...
And the hardest thing on our robot is the drum. Like, the rest of the robot is this nice, chewy 2024 aluminum. Like, it's strong, but Sanawayachi is just going to take just a meat cleaver. It's just going to take chunks out of it. And, we just figured, why not hit the hardest part of the robot? Worst case, we crack the drum. Like, and then it just explodes, and
that's
hey,
it. And then you
was
get to go
awesome.
to the beach again.
So, but it's not going to be something where it's just kind of a pummeling over and over and over. So
the look on both your guys' faces, I mean, was such a question. You didn't believe it.
Yeah.
They didn't believe it.
Zach was losing it. Like he just,
But that's the beauty of the whole thing is, it's kinda, there's no way you could predict this.
No, yeah.
I
mean, nobody could have seen that coming.
How psyched were you to make it to the court? What were your expectations going
So,
in?
like, after Sanawayachi, we were like, we just said, oh my goodness, we're 2 fights in. We've won 2 fights. And it's like, we're doing really good. Like this is our first year doing a robot this big.
Right.
Like, we've always done the 60-pound, little, vicious little robots. And, this is a totally new thing for us. And so, fighting, at BattleBots, like whole studio, all these people just talking to you, it's just so much sensory overload that we're like, okay, who's our next fight, and then eventually we see HyperShock, and we're like, yeah, it was fun, it was fun, we're like, yeah, man, great driver. So, and so the first half of the fight, we're just like, what's going on? We're just like, what are we going to do? And so, we're just getting pushed around, beat around. And then, our only other talent is surviving. Managed
You
to
did really well.
Yeah.
Frustratingly.
So, and that's kind of like our strategy. It's just like build a bot that just can't be physically broken. I mean, Bombshell, they put us over the wall. The wheels are still moving. Like, if someone would have just picked it up and like pulled it out, we could have just drove off. So, but yeah, so it was. I mean, overall, it's a great experience.
think we've only had one robot crawl back out of the screws.
Donald's robot.
Donald
Yeah.
crawled
Yeah.
back
Donald
out of
did
the screws.
That's
Yeah.
next year. We'll have to
So,
put something.
so for season
Yeti
3,
did a pretty good job.
when there's a season
Yeti could,
3
Yeti could
announced,
do it.
Yeah.
Yeti could call
yeah.
it.
So when there's a season 3 announced, what are the improvements that you want to make that you're willing to mention out loud? What are your ideas at this point?
I think
So
he'll tell you everything. He just told him he's going to run right into
yeah,
it.
exactly. Yeah. So
It might be reverse psychology. It's conning us the whole time.
we're actually going to hide the corners. No. So we've been looking at a bigger motor.
Oh, come on, really?
Like, so we really liked our. So after we got everything fixed at the house, we managed to get the drum to about a 4-second spin up. So at the house now, it spins up in 4 seconds, and so we thought, like, we don't know what we want to do, if we want to keep the drones, or if we want to put that more into the weapon. We found that the frame was really sufficient, and we could probably pull some weight out of the frame, maybe some out of the drum, and put it into a motor. And I don't know, it'd be no.
Paul's saying, no, you're good, you're good.
No, we need more flamethrowers.
Yeah.
More flamethrowers. So
What was the drone like?
Another tail.
Is the drone now been there, done that? We're not going to do anything more. You're going to try to evolve the drone.
we're trying to figure out like what to do with it. It's a really cool idea. Like the fire, it was really hard. It's really hard to fly a drone in that box.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a ventilation system. You know, you guys know. You made this wonderful ventilation system that keeps the lipo fumes out. So
Those are hazards for the drones.
yeah.
Right.
So
They're going to
but-
dangle rakes next to
Yeah, it's just
Make the
every
visual.
there. Please, instead of like hammers, can you guys have rakes? We need
That would be
rakes.
really funny.
So that'll keep
Aerial-
drones away
aerial
from the
hammers.
wall.
There you go.
Two hammers, one each.
Yeah.
We wanted to have a
Each-
weapon
each
called
team
the
gets a rake,
chandelier.
one hammer.
The
The
chandelier.
chandelier it was an idea we had in the early stages, but there'd be two of them, and they'd be in different quadrants of the box. And on your, you guys control the hammers, right? A lot of people
You
don't
can
know
drop the
the
chandelier.
contestants control the hammers, but you had another button where if you got under a certain color squared, you drop the chandelier, and it would be this evil like spiky thing. And just go,
That would actually
sticks the
from
drone
high
to the
enough
ground.
up, and if it was heavy,
it
some of the
would
top
be great
plates
for drones
would actually
too.
do some damage.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
it
Drone
looked
would be
cool,
hilarious.
if anything. It doesn't
Seeing
have
a
to smash
chandelier
into the
drop
robot,
on Obwald and Overlord would be pretty great.
Wouldn't take much.
And then we had we had Mark Cabana drop some concepts for it. It was this evil, medieval looking,
man.
spiky thing. It was really cool.
Awesome.
Cool. Well, thanks for joining. If you want to
Yeah.
stick around, you're certainly more
Yeah.
than welcome.
We'll
All
probably
right.
be back and forth.
All right. Yeah. So let's get moving. We got
Yeah.
what 45 minutes left and 7 fights. Holy Jesus.
Who's
okay.
next?
So what next? Yeti Chomp. Let's do it.
You guys
All right.
have another one fight?
Yeah. That was
my
the
God.
first one.
Casey,
We need
talk
you.
too
Come on.
much, man.
Yeah.
You talk too much.
No, he was fun to talk to. Anyway, so Chomp Yeti. I was so happy to see Yeti doing well again.
But Chomp,
But Chomp,
God,
damn it,
Awesome.
Chomp. Every single time Chomp hits like dead center right between the drum and
It's
the
not a fluke.
It's
it's not.
No, it's clearly not a
The
fluke.
hate online
The
is
bite
undeniable.
force fight, like
Yeah.
okay, maybe you got one lucky
yeah,
hit.
she got like
which,
3
by the way,
White
yeah.
Force, and then like.
But here she is.
to see
She does
Yeti.
it 3 times in this fight.
It's a big
But-
target, but
so,
she nails it.
It was so
Every
great
single
that like
time.
before Bite Force, they're like, "Oh, we're gonna try to hit the chain," and Paul's like, "There's no way they're gonna hit our chain." Bam! And then Yeti, Greg says the same thing. Oh, well, we have these exposed belts. We're a little concerned. She gets 2 shots like right behind the
between.
drum. I mean,
Yeah. that's
Now,
amazing
how,
right there.
how much do you
Amazing.
think she was using the auto targeting?
all the time.
All
She-
the
she
time?
said-
The whole time she was using
She
it?
said if
That's
Chomp
really
is
cool.
ever pointing at the other robot, it's auto target. She's
That's
like,
super cool.
Zoe said, "I can't drive for crap." So if pointing at the other robot, it's auto targeting.
That's fantastic.
Did you show your bolt?
No.
Oh, sorry.
Well, hey, it's your award to present.
So there are 4 awards. You see that you saw that the who won? Should we say who won?
Yeah.
It's done.
Yeah.
So Ray wins the giant nut. But there are 4 other best of show awards that you don't see on TV. One of which was best driver.
As it breaks my armor.
And guess who won best
On the
driver?
table.
HyperShock.
Yeah. There is a photo of Witch Doctor stealing our bolt because we were tired and hungry.
You left it in the
and we
pit.
left it in the pits.
So we ravaged it instead.
yeah.
So it's the giant bolt. It's actually threaded to go into the giant nut. So if
Yeah.
someone wins, Ray has bolt.
Ray has
Yeah.
both.
Ray,
Yeah.
Ray
There's a-
posted a picture.
there's already a photo.
And he's like, yes,
Yeah.
it fits.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he did.
Like that night.
Did
he
you
went
guys
home.
actually like scale up a standard thread? Like, is that actually like a real thread?
I just
think
tell
it's
the
a real
machine
thread.
shop to make a giant bolt.
Oh, okay, cool.
It's like 4.
It's like a
He's
four.
like, make a nut,
Yeah.
make a nut that
A
fits.
4
the
dash
nut.
When we had
one.
this idea, said make the bolt fit the nut. No, it's Bob's Machining in Berkeley, so thumbs up to those guys. They
Thanks,
kicked ass.
Bob.
Thanks, Bob.
Yeah, can I buy a giant?
Are
nut
these
from you
manually
guys?
machined or
No.
CNC?
Part a little bit of both.
Okay.
I don't see why not, Will.
Anyway, so yeah, Chomp was rightfully so. Chomp. Oh,
So Chomp won
yeah,
the
Chomp got-
Founders Award. So
yeah.
the judges give the most Destructive Robot Award. Guess who won that?
Minotaur.
Minotaur.
Yeah.
The contestants award the Best Driver Award, and they award the Best Engineering Award, which was
Red Devil.
Red Devil.
Red Devil.
Then Trey and I give the Founders Award, and it's for someone who did something that pushes the sport further, does something different, and advances the sport. So we gave that to Zoe, we gave that to Chomp, because no one has used AI and automation to such a fantastic degree as she did. So
And
that's why she
I
got
think, in
it.
our opinion, it was the most complicated robot.
Oh yeah,
Hands
right.
down.
BattleBots by-
Oh, by far.
And it never stopped working,
And
which
it
is like
never
That was the
As-
most angering thing
as
about it.
No,
intricate
frankly.
and like flimsy as it looked. Like it never stopped working.
It looked like an engine block.
Yeah,
You know,
it
when you
totally
look
did.
inside a really complex car, like a modern car with fuel injection and everything, that's what the inside of Chomp looks like.
And when you see that in the pit, you're thinking like, oh, one
There's
good
no way.
hit and it's dead.
That's
no,
what we thought.
never died.
It
That's what we
never
thought.
died.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like,
in the last in this fight that unfortunately Chomp lost, but you know Chomp does 2 kick flips. They
do
freaking
totally
kick
It lost
and
one.
lands
and-
keeps
It lost
going.
and
one of its
totally
little
fine.
wings. That
The wing
it
did
lost
her in.
one of its
Yeah.
little self-riding wings, and that was what did her in.
Well, I think at the end it looked like she couldn't even
It was-
actuate it really, like
it was weak.
completely.
Yeah, they were
It
having
that was
issues.
weak
It might have been
before
out
that
of
fight,
air.
yeah.
Maybe there was
I think
some
it was
binding
probably
to
out
it.
of air because they were trying to do it a lot.
They were doing it a
were
lot.
doing a
They
lot.
did it a lot. We should count how many
Yeah.
times they did it.
See
Not
how
right
long.
now.
But
See
then
how
a
long it
CO2
lasts.
tank that big and to be able to shoot that
Yeah.
many
It
times
was-
at full speed.
But the
So
Chomp hate
amazing.
online is undeserved. It was a
It's a-
fantastic
No,
robot.
you if you hate Chomp, you're an idiot.
You were a jerk. You were a jerk.
You're just a jerk, and you
You
need
don't
to
know
get with
what's
the
up.
times because
Yeah.
Chomp's amazing.
Yeah, Chomp was good.
And I honestly really appreciate, you know, she changed up entirely what her weapon was. She literally a new robot, completely,
Yeah.
Totally.
and just killed it. You know, came in and engineered the crap out of it, and just really made an amazing
And
robot.
the flopping thing looks awkward to someone who's not initiated into robot combat. It's always on its back. It's always doing this. But she always had a plan to self-right.
Yeah.
It always and it always did.
Yeah,
Except when
except when
popped
the
off
wing finally
Yeah.
popped off. Yeah.
Well, it didn't pop off. It got
knocked off.
It got hit off.
Yeah.
by Yeti.
I'm
It was
Which is,
weak
you know,
cut.
kudos to Yeti, but
Right.
you know, again, it's a
No, Yeti is smart battler. I mean, I don't know if he consciously went for the wing, but if he did, that was the way to go.
yeah.
Yeah.
He claims that he has no tactic.
I don't think.
Well,
Yeah.
well,
Maybe
his
no
tactic is
formal
to
tactic,
survive.
but he knows what he's doing.
But
And
the
Greg Gibson's not a.
He's
yeah.
practiced.
He knows what he's
He's
doing.
He's driven his robot.
But the thing that Yeti did that Bite Force didn't do was stay on Chomp.
Yeah.
As Chomp's flipping over, he stayed on Chomp.
Yeah.
You know, Bite Force
That's
kinda
the way you gotta do
waited
it.
for Chomp to like self-right and then went, and
Yeah,
attacked.
waiting to see what was going to happen.
Greg said he wasn't going to be super aggressive, but he was,
Yeah,
and it worked.
yeah, it totally.
Totally worked.
I'm interested to see who and how people try to copy Chomp next year in terms of
I hope everybody-
automation
I hope
and
everybody tries to copy
and
Chomp. 'Cause it won't
LiDAR
work.
and all that stuff. Yeah, well, no one's going to be able to get it to work nearly as well as
Well, the
Chomp,
hammer
first
bots
off.
as a class really
They're coming
stepped
back.
up.
Yeah,
I
I'm
mean,
impressed.
Beta and Chomp kicked some butt this year, and so it's
Well, they're
nice to see because
both in this episode.
right.
When both of them had a chance to take the whole show.
Yeah,
But
Yeah.
in a world of drum spinners,
yeah.
and
Yeah,
Blacksmith too. I mean, honestly, his hammer, even though it wasn't quite
Right.
wasn't quite effective,
Right.
the showmanship was there, which
the
it
blacksmith's
normally wasn't.
showmanship was off the
Oh
charts.
yeah,
It was off
so
the charts.
good, so good.
And you know, they really did it. They
Yeah.
really did it. They
So
made the show
hammers, I
good.
think, are a totally viable class. You could win.
Yeah. Well, let's go to the Beta Tombstone fight next.
Speaking of,
Yeah. So Beta, we've heard this before, but Beta was designed to kill Tombstone.
Yeah.
And last year, Beta was supposed to, but had
There was
last
the first
minute
fight.
issues. There was supposed to be the first fight,
Supposed to be the first one.
and Tombstone originally had the Beta blocker, and it was just that titanium sheet on top.
Right.
And he kept it around because, of course, he would.
They were the first fight to last 3 minutes with Tombstone,
Yeah.
which is impressive
Yeah,
in and of
that's season
itself.
two,
It
yeah.
went to judges, which is unreal.
Unheard of
Yeah.
for Ray. Ray
Unheard
never
of.
goes to the judges.
Yeah, he doesn't like it.
well, and it was 3 minutes of Tombstone working, not 3
Yeah.
minutes of a broken Tombstone.
I mean, Ray was not giggling. He was not smiling.
was
He wasn't asking for
he
if he
wasn't
wanted
cocky.
more.
He was sweating.
Yeah.
He was sweating.
And, I mean, you can see it right now. Beta's just pushing around the box the whole time. And, there's
Pushing
damage
and
there.
activating the hammer.
Yeah, and we'll look at some photos in a minute of like just the close-ups of some of the damage to Beta on the aluminum arms because they took a beating.
Neither of these robots
They took a
fight
beating.
were working.
Yeah, it was.
They could not fight.
That was a rough fight.
And there was little controversy towards the end of this.
Well, this fight we had. You don't see it on the TV show, but we had to time out this fight because they got stuck.
Oh.
Oh no, this is the fight. The clock broke.
This is
You're right.
The clock.
Yeah.
So no one knows this, but
Yeah.
the clock. So we have a clock. We have a computer, and it ties to the clocks that you see on the screen. And the freaking our scorekeeper, great guy. He was so excited. Like there was a hit. So Tombstone hit.
actually was just there a second ago.
Hit Beta, and it hit right where he is. He's right in front of the Lexan. It hit right there, and he knees the computer, stops the clock. Right?
Nobody knows.
And we're like going, wow! Now, luckily in the truck, they have SMPTE code, so
Right.
they can see on the screen. So in my ear, I could hear the people in the truck going, okay, 39, 29, 28, 27,
Yeah.
counting it down. But there was some massive confusion, and the refs couldn't hear it, and so it got to the end, and it was
Wow.
like,
All right,
are we
stop,
out of
stop,
time
stop,
or
stop.
what?
Thank
So
goodness
that's-
both the weapons were out because otherwise you would have gotten into
They both
really dangerous territory.
agreed that that was the end of the fight, but neither of them
Right.
were working.
Yeah.
Neither of them could roll.
Yeah.
They were both.
They were limping.
And they both agreed
They
to
both
give it
agreed
to
to
the
go to
judges.
judges.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the end of the match, they're stuck together. So
Well-
it looked like Tombstone couldn't drive.
Neither.
I
of
don't
them
think
could
either of
drive.
them could drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Neither of
Yeah,
them could.
it was. I was happy not to be a judge at that moment
That was a tough.
because I mean, look at
tough
some of the
call,
damage
yeah.
to Beta here.
Loses
You know,
most
half
of its primary
the
weapon.
the hammer structure there is gone.
If you're a
The
judge,
side
the,
is gone.
the damage points go to Tombstone if you're a judge.
Right,
If
right,
you're
yeah.
Judging this
Yeah.
on destruction alone, then
Oh, for sure,
Tombstone won.
for sure.
But I would say
But
for sure control points
Control
go to.
points go to
Beta all the way.
and I was a little the other way. I would say
It
Beta
was-
had taken this fight.
It was a tough call.
But the aggression points, I'd split them if I was a
Yeah.
judge.
it's
I'd split
tough.
He took control. If you watch again and watch how many times he knocked him around the arena, I think Beta was in much.
To me, it's the strategy.
Yeah,
points.
but
The amount of times that Beta approached Tombstone is terrifying.
yeah, but
Because most
it's just
people
going right at him.
will not. Even if they could, they wouldn't.
Right.
It'd be like something will go wrong, and Beta just kept attacking.
So,
They kept
John Reed's
aggressing.
an amazing driver.
well, that and I think
Look at
the
that. Oh my God.
It's Hardox, right?
Yeah,
Is with wedge.
yeah.
Yeah. So this is an incredible type of material that seemed to hold up very, very well.
Yeah, it's.
Well,
I don't know if it's the angle or
It has to be the angle. It
it's supposed
has
to be
a
similar
part of the
or the
angle.
same
both.
as
It's
AR.
both.
What about
It's,
the damage to the top line?
there's
Oh.
different
Oh, do you have a
levels
shot
of
of that?
Hardox, too.
I mean, it has to be something to do with the angle because it
Absolutely.
just does
It
not
was
take as
designed-
much damage.
Yeah. It was
You know, you
designed
see
to-
how Tombstone is attacking the wedge and it is just not affecting it.
Yeah.
It's only until it hits the structure of the primary weapon.
I don't think
that it really
anybody's controlled him that much.
Yo,
Ever.
Not even Bite Force.
Yeah.
Well, maybe Bite Force last season.
Not as much as this.
Tombstone broke.
Right, that's right.
Beta has been on Tombstone this entire fight.
Yeah.
There were moments where even Paul with Bite
And
Force
if he played his
let him
cards
have
right,
the opportunity.
Ray would have lost had he not totally obliterated the hammer towards
Yeah.
the end of the fight.
Yeah.
He would have lost.
Because he was upside down.
Yeah.
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 The upside down helped him.
See, I'm surprised Ray doesn't think of those things and say, you know what, I'm going to start Tombstone upside down.
It would have been better.
Which I probably would have, honestly, if I was Tombstone. Looking at Beta, and it's like, okay, that angle, the material, like, why wouldn't you start upside down?
this one the judges could have given it to either one,
Yeah.
and it would have been accurate.
It's a dance. It's beautiful.
I think he turns on from the top, no?
Yeah.
Tombstone.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he could flip it over. That's not against the rules.
It's just as unsafe
Yeah.
as him flipping it over at the end of the match.
Actually, probably safer.
Perfectly safe. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, yeah. So Tombstone won that. Goes on to the what was that? The semifinals.
Semis
And
against Yeti.
yeah. So next
Oh,
was
this fight is-
Bronco Minotaur.
Man.
The
Just
de-wheeling.
to say,
So I talked to.
Oh, yeah.
Beta couldn't have made it back to another fight.
No,
That's what
you're
I was
right.
gonna say.
They were out of parts.
You know,
So he
yeah.
was done.
Yeah,
he
they
got
were-
he got
If
wrecked
he
pretty
made-
good
if
after
he was-
Nightmare.
Not that that had anything to do with the.
He would have just been a wedge.
Yeah,
Right,
He
yeah.
would have made it back.
All right. So yeah, Bronco versus Minotaur. Yeah.
So this was heart wrenching for me because on that first hit right there, I was standing and watching this. I'm going like something is wrong with the flipper.
Yeah.
Something's wrong.
We were actually up in the stands, and right on that flip, I was expecting Minotaur to
Go 8 feet in the air.
8 feet in the
Yeah.
air, and it was like a.
And I talked to Xander after this, and they had problems with the airflow.
I think they forgot to turn on one.
There was some. It's like check sheet. You've got to have a
And
check
those
sheet.
guys
to do
are
these
so
robots.
good at perfecting.
Yeah,
things and doing
the
their
fact that they
checklist and-
miss something is a fluke.
But on the other hand, knocking 6 wheels off, is
Yeah.
freaking awesome.
Yeah,
They just kept going. They're like, okay, there's one more left. I'm gonna keep hitting
You know,
right.
they changed their configuration here. They actually took off the protection
Yeah.
for the wheels.
I'm curious
Yeah.
why though.
I think it was to get that different lifter on the back.
Well, it was 6 wheels versus 4 wheels, right? And the
No,
4 wheels.
they were
were
both
They
material-
had-
they're
they had
both-
a
This was the
protector.
6-wheel version.
Yeah,
yeah, that's both.
they had a protection.
I think the
mechanism.
4-wheel version has the protector, and if they added protectors for the 6-wheel version, they'd be overweight.
Well,
That's what I
against
thought.
black.
The 4-wheel was a different material that had protection, and then there was a 6-wheel that didn't.
No, because against Blacksmith they had 6 wheels, but the armor on top.
Yes, but they
There
switched
are
something else.
lots
didn't
of
have-
weird.
Well, they had 2 Broncos, right? So
Yeah.
what's
But they
the
had a
difference?
4-wheel and a 6-wheel.
No, I'm saying the Blacksmith
Yeah.
match was 6 wheel with armor on top.
But not the wedge on the back.
Anyway,
the
there
wedge on the back.
were so many configurations of Bronco that
I
even
forget,
the-
honestly.
we can't figure it out.
Yeah.
Well, he has no wheels in a minute.
One of the things I was surprised, I mean, it makes sense. It's a long wheelbase, but it seemed like what I think Reason was thinking as control, which is controlled movement and slower, more defined movement, became a disadvantage because Minotaur just goes around and takes every shot it can at a wheel.
It's like watching the German soccer team fight the Brazilian soccer team.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, at least in the...
It's tactics versus pure aggression.
Who won that match?
The Brazilians.
Polacks. I say that.
He does not let up on Bronco ever.
Yeah, another example of do not let up on your
Both
body.
of these are great drivers. They really
No, they're
Right.
they're both
fantastic.
incredible drivers.
I just wanted that flipper to work because I thought this match it just Minotaur dominated, and I wanted it to be a little more even, and the flipper not being 100% was kind of a bummer.
Yeah, they had a couple good opportunities for flips on Minotaur, but
Yeah,
Couldn't
the
deliver.
the outcome was fantastic. I mean,
Yeah.
Minotaur is such a
We
great,
could tell you a few
fantastic
stories
robot.
about that guy.
Only nice stories.
like what?
You know, one of those Miami stories.
Oh, Miami
Like
stories.
what?
Oh, yeah.
One of-
that was a good
one of
event.
the-
That was a fun event.
Well, I don't know.
I'm gonna pinch you under
Oh,
the
you
table.
don't know now?
One robot that I think should, and it's funny because
Work.
the Chomp and Bronco seem to be actually pretty good friends. Bronco should take advantage to some of the automation controls.
Yeah,
because
hell yeah.
there were,
Hell
you know,
yeah.
last
Oh my
year there was
goodness,
that
it
one
really
little
should.
opportunity they had to get under Tombstone. That was the what if moment.
Everyone at home, and we all do this. When
Yeah,
Bronco's
like,
fighting, we all go
"Ah!"
now.
Damn it, Reason. go.
And you get that kind of
Yeah.
timing. They're coming around now, right? You
Yep.
and
They're still
sometimes they
trying-
don't get it, and you're like,
Right,
"Damn."
and I'm sure part of that is a delay, or they have to fill a buffer tank or something.
Right.
And you can't see it all.
Right.
You
It's-
know, we can
yeah.
see from perfect camera angles all day long, but we're
We
stuck
get-
over here, and
we
there's
get
a robot
hella tunnel vision.
40 feet over in that direction.
Totally.
And you can't see anything.
But how cool would automation be on Bronco?
it'd be devastating.
Yeah.
If
I don't know.
Bronco had
Reason's a
auto
pretty damn good
centering,
He is a good driver, but in that particular fight, there were
Yeah, but
even with the limited flipping power that they had, there were 4 or 5 moments where it was under, and he, you know, and Minotaur got off of the flipper, and then he popped.
yeah, but I don't think it'd be the same because Chomp uses hers to aim and obviously
True.
fire.
But if it was just an optical sensor or a range sensor on the arm,
the arm, yeah,
and it
that's the
says,
arm.
"Oh, I'm under something,"
exactly.
flip
Yeah,
now.
You know,
simple
you can
turn it off.
sensitive.
Yeah, I mean-
Automation is all about timing, and those guys are not very good at clocks and stuff.
Yeah.
well, I mean,
Yeah,
Chomp
they're
uses
terrible at
not only
building
timing
clocks.
but distance.
Yeah.
You know, so they were dialing in all their testing how far the opponent had to be in order for the weapon to
Oh,
fire.
for Chomp, yeah.
For Chomp in particular. So if Bronco had not only the auto centering on the enemy,
I don't think Reason's a good enough driver.
but the distance,
The auto firing for the weapon would be good.
auto firing
Yeah.
would be crazy.
Well,
So Xander Reason.
Beta with auto firing.
yeah.
Because there's so many times when sorry. It's an
Auto firing, we're into it.
Yeah.
Bronco-
More of it
could
in
be
season
really
3.
I would say Bronco is one of
You guys should have your
favorite
rake auto
robots,
fire.
kids especially.
Auto rake,
Definitely
Mine
Bronco.
included.
Auto rake
I
season 3.
have a soft spot for Bronco.
So
auto pointing.
if you guys want to get in on this, we have a whole bunch of people. Actually, this is perfect.
Well, let's-
The
yeah.
next fight is Minotaur versus
Here.
Bombshell, and we have.
I'll get out of here.
Yeah, no, you you can stay. Anyone can stay. We got enough chairs in this room. All right, come on. All right, so that's the wrong video.
I know.
One of the robots is right.
I'll go back to this. Which way do we? I'm gonna go.
Minotaur, Bombshell.
All right, so Bombshell Minotaur.
So you went with the disc again.
Yeah. It's a fight I've done a bunch. So Julie here, my wife, has a 1 pound robot that looks a lot like Minotaur, and I have a little 1 pound robot that looks a lot like Bombshell in that configuration. And we've fought each other way too many times.
So this playbook, you've done this 100 times.
Yeah, I've got at least a decent amount of practice fighting a big nasty drum with a vertical spinning disc.
So good practice.
And it was still a really nervous fight because I've seen Minotaur, I've seen some of the other bots they've built, and they're just incredible machines and crazy destructive.
Do they make a lot of noise when they're driving?
I actually can't tell you because I was so tunnel vision going on during that fight. I didn't hear a thing from them.
Yes.
They could have had vuvuzelas going and no one would know.
So what happened? How'd you win?
So early on, I was trying to just keep that wedge at their drum and try to get them to bounce off of it to slow their drum down enough for me to get in and get them a good punch with the disc. And it didn't work so well early on. Right now, they ripped off one of our wheel guards, and I think a bit of the lights just hit the floor. Sorry about that.
Which happened 3 times during production.
Yeah.
We lost 3 lights.
I think twice was our fault.
And our light board.
You gotta attach things better, man.
It saved the rest of the drivetrain.
That is true.
That's kind of like the chandelier.
Chandelier prototype.
But I think right about here, we're getting towards one of my favorite hits where we end up just coming together perfectly head on, and Minotaur gets flipped upside down. And I think that's really where the momentum shifted.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And what was the damage that took Minotaur out?
So
when
now
that
they're
hit,
flipped,
yes.
I'm not sure if it was right now. Yeah, right now, one of their drive sides is dead.
Right.
And,
Lost a belt.
I'm not sure. I think they broke the gearbox.
Something's hanging though, because in one of the shots you
Yeah,
see,
yeah,
you
so
see a
they
belt.
have-
That's a weapon, though.
Okay.
They have
Yeah.
2 belts running that drum.
So he's lost. Okay.
Somewhere right around here, you'll see us come in and hit him right on the side there.
Right there.
That's the hit that won us the fight.
Because
So
that
we
dented
folded
the armor.
We folded their bottom armor panel down low enough that it was actually sticking past the wheel that was still working.
And there you can see the belt. So that's a weapon belt.
Yeah. And now I'm just trying to get them flipped over because I know if I can just get them over again, the fight's over.
And there he
There
goes.
they go. Did it to itself.
And somewhere around here, we actually broke the tooth off on our disc, and it was just vibrating like crazy.
And they let the magic smoke out.
Yeah, we let a little bit of smoke out. I think that was probably some tape or something burning. I think we had the same issue where the wire desoldered itself, and the disc being unbalanced was enough vibration to shake it loose of the connector. Because we actually had all of our connections zip tied down and multiple orientations to hold them together at this point.
Yeah, so you can see on the left corner of Minotaur, the top, I guess, the bottom plate, it's just peeled up a little bit, just enough to high center them on their own robot, which is perfect.
Very hard to see.
It's really hard to see, and normally we'd have a highlight, but you know, live.
Yeah, it was one of
live
those-
at remote locations.
But that was calculated.
It was one of those little things where it ended up being perfect, and I was actually super thrilled with the photographer at BattleBots, Dan Longmire. He got a photo of the exact moment of the hit where you can actually see the tooth still engaged with the bottom plate.
Ooh, nice.
So that's going to be going up once we're done with Dragon Con and I can actually sort through the photos.
Cool. Share that with me, and I'll post it on the Facebook page.
Yeah, sure.
That was a really good fight.
That was
Sure.
amazing. So now you are actually in the semifinals. Did you think that the Southern All Stars would go that far?
So going into the BattleBots this season, I thought we brought a cool enough bot and with enough interesting weapons, we'd probably get a win or two. And that's what I was hoping for. I was hoping we'd come out with at least one win pog, because I've been wanting that for a long time. You know, I barely missed the first run of BattleBots. I had a driving chassis just after Season 5. And I've been doing this ever since with the small bots and things like that.
So I was really gunning for at least one win pog. That's what I wanted.
And you got 4.
Yeah, we came out with 4 of them and managed to make our way to the finals, which is well beyond anything any of us expected.
And were your spirits dampened when Complete Control took you out?
Honestly, no. That was a really fun fight. I thought it was amazing TV.
It was
and
one of the best fights.
We picked our weapon because we wanted both of us to go through. So we wanted to win the fight, but we wanted them to get a wild card if they lost.
Or vice versa.
Or vice versa. And I knew if we put in Short Fuse the drone with the axe, it would be a really entertaining fight. And that was the goal, was to win and make it as exciting as possible.
It was. Yeah.
I think I was amazed at how you picked, what weapon you were going to put on for each battles, and it confused me sometimes. I would look at it, like, why did you do that? They got the, is one of the other ones broken? Something not working? What's the reasoning for that? But
I think my favorite justification that you gave for using disc against poison arrow was, well, last match it didn't work so well, so we're going to use it now.
But we had to prove that it was actually decent.
Right.
The amount of hate that got on the internet after the Red Devil fight. It's like, oh, that disc is just crap. It's never going to work.
Now you know what's wrong with it.
Yeah.
Now we know how to fix it.
And Mike, you were a wild card, right?
Yeah, we were a wild card. I think we're the only wild card that's actually won more than a single fight after getting it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
This season.
No, I think in general.
Yeah.
Really?
Was
Witch
it
Doctor?
No, Witch Doctor got
Yeti
the
wasn't
one
a wild
win
card.
against Overdrive. And then they had Tombstone.
Oh, but what a fight against
Yeah.
Tombstone. They almost beat Tombstone.
They nearly beat
I
Tombstone.
thought they did. You guys went back in.
I mean,
that
what
one
a
more
fight
hit,
you
you
guys
had them
lost.
beat. And
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you
If
guys
you're gonna
were
lose
the
a fight.
first lost by fire.
Yeah.
That's something to be said, that you got a KO by fire, which is like, nobody expects that fire is going to be an effective weapon.
everybody thought
And
fire doesn't.
we
do
proved
anything.
everyone wrong.
Looks
Yeah.
good.
And you
By
proved
dying.
it wrong.
Yeah.
And then you came back, got a wild card,
It got it working. Yeah.
and did what you did, and it was just that much more impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
I
was-
mean, unreal watching it.
So
I don't think anybody would have predicted you would have made it to where you made it from at the beginning, looking at your robot and not really knowing.
Total underdog, total dark horse.
Totally,
and
So that's
made
up.
it
You did
kick
kick
ass.
I heard from a buddy of mine who was on the Sub-Zero team that a lot of what he was hearing in the pits was, who are these guys and where did they come from?
They came from a lot of places.
Well,
Yeah.
kudos to Peter Abramson, because when I came to DragonCon last year, he goes, you have to meet Jimmy Price and the Southern guys, because they are some of the kick-ass builders out there. And we went to Robo Battles, we met you guys, and so we were lobbying for you to the network hard. Get these guys on. They're going to be good. They're going to be good. And you got second place.
Yep.
Yeah.
all you had to do was tase yourself in a video.
Yeah. Yeah. For anyone that hasn't,
All you had to do was get your wife to
so
tase you.
for
in a
anyone that
video.
hasn't seen our application video, we have posted it publicly now. My wife hit me with a stun gun in the application video
You
for
had to do it a few times.
oh, really?
and we had to do multiple takes.
Oh my gosh.
She just wanted to know if that would work.
So next fight was Tombstone versus Yeti. Who did you want to fight?
I really, really wanted to fight Yeti, but that's
Yeah.
a backstory thing as opposed to bot versus bot. So about a decade and a half ago, I met Greg Gibson. He actually helped get my first robot in the arena. He welded the chassis for my lightweight over a decade ago and really helped me get started in the sport. I crewed for him at a couple of robo games, at a Steel Conflict, at a bunch of events like that. And he's the one who got me past that initial hurdle of how do I even begin?
Yeah.
And
I
it would have
like
been
the
so
robots.
amazing to fight him in the finals at BattleBots.
Oh, the production team would have loved that.
Oh, that would have been
That would have been a great story.
amazing for the storyline.
Nicole would have liked that. Yeah.
That would have drawn tears from me.
Maybe next season.
So the fight.
We might be able to help there.
Yeah.
So one thing.
Not at that.
Speaking about Yeti just going hard in the paint all the time, there he is again, just going right at him, going right at Tombstone, full speed, not caring at all.
I loved how
Losing
many wheels he lost, and he kept going.
And the drums hitting the floor.
As long as his robot was moving forward, he was attacking.
And he took the blade out.
Yeah.
I never,
Tombstone's had a hard couple fights.
I didn't see the judges' scorecard for this, but I've got to assume this is probably Ray's closest fight of the tournament.
I have it somewhere, but I forget.
Yeah, and this one was.
Yeti, every time I went back to the pits after one of his fights, I mean, he was messed up.
He was thrashed.
He had work to do.
And they
So much work.
touched on at the beginning of the show, but he was an alternate.
Yeah.
They showed up with not a whole lot.
And he was an alternate, like a last alternate.
Yeah.
Because there were 4 alternates before Yeti, and,
Yeah.
then people dropped out, and those 4 alternates got in
Well, he
as
was an
entrants.
alternate.
Totally.
He
yes.
was an
He was
alternative
a backup alternate.
He was
Yeah.
a backup alternate, and he had no spares. And I remember, like, 3 or 4 fights in, he's like, I don't have this part. And we're like, we have this part.
Yeah,
Hey,
everyone pitched
was
in.
trying to
It
help him. It
actually
was
really
awesome.
cool.
So for this fight, he's actually running the spare weapon motor for our bar spinner.
Yeah.
That's great.
That would have been pretty funny to have to fight parts of your own robot in someone else's robot.
That's what it's about, though.
Yeah.
You know, if
It's
you
not
beat him and he
Yeah.
didn't have that,
Yeah, it'd feel
It would
terrible
feel
to
terrible.
beat someone if there was something you could do to make the
Yeah.
whole fight better and you didn't do it.
you want him to say,
But I think that's
you beat
what's
me fair and
so
square.
unique about this sport is our sportsmanship.
Yeah.
You know, we are all such good buddies
Definitely
at the
community.
pits,
Yeah.
and you know we're all like we just want the best fight possible. You know, so if you're willing to give your spare motors to Yeti so that he can have a great fight against Tombstone, you know, we're like that's more power to them. That's
It's like
fantastic.
I was sad. I was apologizing to these guys after the Red Devil fight because that was just not at all what I wanted.
right.
Yeah.
It's like
Shit
that was
happens.
disappointing.
And we get that a lot.
So Tombstone won after just a lot of pushing and a lot of Yeti flailing.
Which is so funny to see Tombstone become a pusher.
Yeah. Yeah, Ray needs to practice. Ray, you need to practice pushing, man. You should build a wedge. Call it
Yeah, put a wedge on the back of
call it bot force.
I hope not.
Call it last rites. Oh wait.
Speaking of bot farce, the Rumble.
Yeah.
So
Now Paul redeems himself.
Paul beats the crap out of everyone in this fight. It's great. I was so happy because Paul was having nothing but little issues the entire event, and it's a new robot, and I commend him for trying something different and not just going with original bite force.
How cool is this
But just look
explosion?
at him. He's taking on everyone. He hits Witch Doctor, hits Shaman, goes over, hits Rex a little bit. He goes around and touches everyone. It's like
love
playing
that
tag. Oh, and then
Yeah.
Mike from Witch Doctor.
And you can
hits Shaman.
kind of see, so when the fire hits the Lexan above the door,
Yeah.
that whatever that chemical they put in there to make it green stayed burning the Lexan. And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, what the, and it went out, and it didn't melt the Lexan hardly, and the Lexan stood like a champ.
fine.
But it was one of those moments where, because Trey and I are super worried about
Greg's
the
on the
bots.
radio going, the arena's on fire.
Yeah.
The Lexan's on fire.
Yeah,
It's
it's-
fine.
You can
It's
see
fine.
it. You can see it if you keep scrolling out after the end of the shot. You see a little green dot on
You
top
got
of
a
the door.
couple more fights of the entire event. You've gone pretty much completely scot-free of any real issues, and now the arena's on fire.
But it didn't, and it took off maybe a 1/16th of an inch of the laminate. That's it.
Right.
Yeah, maybe a 32nd.
But yeah, so Witch Doctor kind of got booted. Witch Doctor being a little too
Double-teamed.
light. Yeah, it got double teamed. I mean, look at this picture.
Bang.
Bite Force flips him over into the disc of Rex.
Which is the most deadly part, obviously.
I was impressed how well Rex was moving around. I mean, Rex was still having issues because it's Rex. But he's
It's
actually
only one
maneuvering.
issue it can have.
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah, once it's got the weapon going, it's terrifying. Whether you're a robot or an arena.
But
Stationary or otherwise.
I loved the 3-on-3 rumbles. I mean, when
They're
back
really
in the day
good.
when we'd have 8 robots in the box, it seems like that is so cool, so awesome because it's so outlandish. But
Right.
really, it's just this giant cacophony of metal.
Yeah.
and it's not very.
It's fun in
strategic.
It
person,
would be
but
exciting,
trying to
but-
actually get video of it and make it make
Oh,
any
you
kind
don't-
of
you
sense
don't
for
know
a
what to
crowd.
follow.
Yeah.
It'd be impossible.
And we tape a lot of the small events we go to, and the rumbles are just a nightmare. You just have to kind of zoom out and hope you catch everything,
Right.
because there's always something happening in a different corner, and you
Comedy
can never make
Central
any
would
kind of
shoot
coherent
to the
thing.
aerial shot.
And
Yeah.
even if you're at a rumble where there's more than 3 robots, it's not like you know where to look
You're like,
because
Yeah.
it's stuff ricochets.
But the
towards
3-on-3
Yeah.
is really cool.
And it's the right, at this point in the evolution of the robots, it's the right level of damage. It's terrifying and it's brutal, especially in that fight.
For the box
But
as well.
Yeah, having any more than 3 of those would have been a bad
It's over-
idea
it's
for
over.
everyone.
Keeping
All the
it-
robots would have been wrecked.
How do
The
you-
arena would
How do you think it felt putting Shaman in with this?
Yeah, that was a bad idea.
Yeah.
That was a really bad idea.
And that was a very
It was great.
sad post today on Facebook with Shaman. Rest.
Oh, that was awesome.
Rest in
If you
peace,
take
again.
Shaman, if you take Shaman, you actually put it against Witch Doctor. It fits perfectly in Witch Doctor's weapon.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Yeah, perfect cuts right out of the frame.
Right.
So yeah,
Good
congratulations
evolution. I like
to Paul and Bite Force, because it was nice to really see it working and doing what you knew it could.
Right.
So I think Casey wants Greg and Trey.
Can I borrow you guys for like
Oh yeah, we'll go.
All right, yeah, we'll trade.
We'll
So
be back.
the last fight. Yeah,
See you guys.
This
Come
is my
back in a
favorite
bit.
fight.
Oh well, if you want to stay a couple seconds, we'll do the final.
We'll give you Zach.
I know what
Can we give you
happened.
Zach for filler for a little bit?
Trade Zach.
Yeah.
All right. Hey Zach.
Hey, Zach.
will.
This is our BattleBots founder surrogate, Zach. Also for,
Oh, jeez.
oh, and Randy. Awesome. Oh, because it's going to be great. All right, so the final, the grand finale, Bombshell versus Tombstone. And you guys decided to go with the horizontal, which you designed to go against Tombstone.
Yeah, the sad thing for me going into this fight is we wanted this thing to be a surprise for Ray. We didn't want him knowing about it before the fight. And there wasn't a whole lot we could do at the event to keep it a secret because it has to go through safety and all that. So we knew he'd know a bit about it. But the Cobalt fight kind of gave away how it worked and all of the little tricks and secrets of it. So he knew what he needed to do to win that fight. And it was close for about the first 15-20 seconds, and then there was that hit I got right on the big aluminum hub that spun half of our drivetrain into the bar, and it was just over.
Yeah, I mean, you can see about an inch or 3/4 of an inch down from the top of the aluminum hub, the silvery bit there on
Right above the blue
Tombstone.
part.
But what makes me
There's
so
a little
sad,
gash.
I rewatched the fight. That's actually the third hit of the fight. Our first hit was just above the chain, so we were in the right zone to get it. We just were at the wrong spot with how the bot was rocking.
You connected with the frame, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, we hit the frame.
Like
on
just
the first
so,
time.
just ever so close.
If we were down half an inch, the bar would have been right in his weapon chain.
If not a little bit less. I mean, it was so close.
And then second hit, we ended up hitting, I think, the back corner of his chassis because he showed his tires to me and was like, I've got to go for him. And
You
I
got
just
it.
barely missed.
Yeah, you got it. It's your only chance.
After your first hit, I mean, you got the bar spinning up pretty good, but after that first hit, it didn't really seem like you got it up to the same original speed.
I'm not sure. I think it took a moment to get back to it. I think we were probably slipping the belts on it.
Okay.
Because for that final hit, we actually got a really good bite out of the hub.
Yeah, you can see it in some of the photos that Ray's posted. You can see it's serious.
Yeah,
It was a good bite.
You know, I feel really good about the fight. It's not often you can go to a robot combat competition and lose in the finals and actually measure how much you lost by.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're able to articulate the height live.
Yeah. So we've got one of Charles Guan's DeWatt gear motors driving a lead screw that actuates the 4-bar linkage during the fight. So I've got left and right on the stick is raise and lower the bar, and then throttle is turn on.
So did you have the ability to, at the time, once you made that hit, you're like, okay, I need to lower it a little bit?
If I could have seen where I hit, yes. But I didn't quite
So
know.
tunnel vision.
Yeah.
We had an FPV camera that was all set to go in there, and then our center of gravity was already kind of forward.
Yeah, so we were trying to strip as much weight from the front as we could, because our center of gravity, even as we were fighting there, with about 5 pounds of Rob Masick's lead hammer melted into the back of the robot, was still in front of the front tires. So it
Yeah,
was,
you had those little fingers out there.
it was such a weird thing to drive, because it's just super squirrely, and it was...
Oh, yeah.
And we, even with just the 2 wheels on the ground, we were still at about 9 horsepower on the drive, so it was
Pretty
really
serious.
quick.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was a valiant effort, and I'm glad that you used that weapon, because it's what you wanted to use against Tombstone. You had the opportunity, you took it. Didn't work out, but...
Now, in retrospect, we might have done something different, but it's easy to look back and say, you know, I wish I'd done this, I wish I'd done that.
Yeah,
But
like,
we
what
went there and
weapon
we did
could
some
we
really
choose?
cool stuff.
Yeah.
If we had another hour or two, we might have been able to fix the vertical disc. We'd have actually had to remove the other tooth just to get it balanced again.
Oh, yeah.
So we'd have been going in with this mystery steel. We found this offcut that just had Walter written on it in yellow
Walter
paint.
Steele, I have heard it's good.
So we had no idea what the chemistry was, but it was the right dimensions to cut the main disc out of. So we could have run that. If our lifter had been working, well. We were having some major friction issues in the lifter drive. I think the big plow we had for that could have been pretty effective
That
too.
lifter with a wedge, an articulated wedge, might have been.
However, I think Trey might have stabbed me if I brought a big steel wedge into the reconnected
Yeah,
Tombstone.
he would have.
So the wedge, right? So your previous fight, it seemed to be the wedge by the end was kind of flopping around.
Yeah, so
Was
Minotaur
there-
ripped
was-
one of
was
our
a
teeth
connection?
off.
Oh, really?
Minotaur ripped one of the S7 teeth off and probably took out
Of the disc?
Yeah.
The disc.
So I think there's a photo we'll either be posting or has just been recently posted where you can see this gouge taken through the disc about 3 inches long, and then the tooth just gone.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so from there, that's why your whole front was vibrating.
Yeah, that's when you see the frame.
There's
the
some
whole
cracked
thing's
welds in
twisting.
that wedge now too.
Yeah,
right?
the wedge has some cracked welds now.
Yeah.
In the actual wedge,
Yeah.
not the mounting.
What happened to Tombstone? Any damage?
He
gouge
probably
here
wants to
there.
make a new hub at this point because that's a pretty decent gouge. So he'll probably have to at least make one new part.
So do we have any questions from the live stream, or has no one been paying attention?
You're not sure if the live stream is going.
Oh.
The live stream wasn't working. I was trying to watch
You random folk who have decided to come hang out. Do you have any questions?
Why is the show only an hour long?
Why is the show an hour long? Okay, 2 reasons. 1, because I have a short attention span. 2, because the Twitch feed around 58 minutes and 31 seconds, it turns out, cuts out.
So we got about
we got-
less than 3 minutes left of that. 15
Yeah,
minutes,
officially.
31
We can keep
seconds.
recording, and we can talk until the cows come home, and just upload
We
it.
could just
when-
start it, yeah.
Or we could restart it and just upload it to YouTube, and it'll be the whole thing.
We say happy birthday to Max.
Oh yeah, Max, get up here.
Normal man.
Yeah, Max of Team Mohawk is here. He's my brother, one of the 3 Bales boys,
Oh, thank you.
and it's his birthday.
Hey.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
So he's 22, and
Happy birthday, Max!
And I've been telling him that he needs to join another robot team up in Boston. He's going to
Scheming.
school up in Boston, so
Scheming
that
So no pressure, Mike.
yeah,
I see where this conversation is going.
yeah. So basically,
How do you like cat ears?
if Mohawk, so if Mohawk can get back in, or Mohawk needs a redo,
Yeah,
Greg, our little brother Greg, if you're watching, redo Mohawk. It sucks. So
Shots fired.
Does anybody disagree?
yeah, all in yeah. Max needs to have his own robot, and then I'll have HyperShock again, and then we can have even better than the Waiachi dynasty, the Ewart dynasty. We can have the Bales kerfuffle, and, and we can have our own Rumble. We can have our own,
Bales gaggle.
great whole thing, and we'll orchestrate the whole thing.
No, we should
We'll
get
have
them over
practice
here.
fights.
We need to get them
It'd be
over here.
great.
Get
You
them
know they're
going.
going to do a
Balesy bunch.
Balesy bunch.
Yeah, if there is a 3 Balesy bunch robots, then there's gonna be a Rumble, and you know what? That's fine. Hey, Greg and Trey.
Greg, Trey, we need to start a Bales Rumble.
Yeah, if there are 3 Bales robots, can we have a Bales Rumble? It's not an answer, Casey. Okay.
I got 1 minute left.
All right. Yeah. Question.
So, do you think the beta armoring, where it was taking glancing blows from Tombstone, was due to shock mounts or material?
It definitely helped.
What do you think?
Shock mounts definitely helped.
I
It was
think-
most likely angle and material.
So beta, I think it was a mix of the angle, the material, which I'm pretty sure is Hardox 450 or 500. It's
Yeah.
the British version of AR 400, AR
It
500.
seems to behave differently.
It behaves a little differently, but the chemistry is pretty similar.
Yeah.
The big thing is the geometry of their wedge mixed with the shock mounting and the fact that John Reed is an absolutely excellent driver. He was able to keep Tombstone right where he wanted him, beyond that they kept sliding up into his
But Beta
hammer.
didn't have the sharp bar on. He had like the weird bar that's just a horizontal cut. It's not like the black.
Yeah, Tombstone's bar. Yeah.
It's
It
not
was
the same one you use against us.
right.
Let's say.
Right. It was the more blunt bar,
Yeah, the very blunt bar on against.
which is an interesting choice in hindsight.
I can sort of see that if he was trying to hope he would actually go up their wedge
And just
into the
wreck
hammer
everything?
mechanism. Yeah.
I guess so.
Because if you were trying to skip up the big AR plate, then you don't want to bite into it.
Right.
So he may have gone with the blunt bar to actually skate up them right into the hammer mechanism.
Yeah. I mean, Ray's got what, 5 bars.
I wouldn't put anything past
At least
Ray.
4.
Yeah, he's got 4 or 5 bars, and whatever he decides.
It's
I'm
kinda-
sure he says one reason for why he chooses a bar, but he's really thinking something else.
It's kind of easy to oversimplify Tombstone just because how basic it looks, but they've got a bit of customization that it's kind of unseen.
Wasn't Greg Munson earlier saying something?
Trey was saying something that he can change the height of the chain, allegedly.
Yeah,
Mm.
right.
So-
While he's turning it on, yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's got 8 inches of adjustment because that's what we've got.
Touche, sir. Touche. Do we have any other questions?
What was your favorite line from Farouk?
Oh man, there were some.
There was a
borderline
BattleBots
inappropriate
bikini wax one.
Oh yeah, yeah. The waxing one definitely scarred me.
There was the timely Brexit joke.
The Brexit joke was good. Glippity gloppity glippity glue or glippity goo, and then I got a case of voodoo or deja voodoo. Yeah, and he said it again.
He used that last season and this season
Yeah.
twice. So
Well, I mean, if you're making a deja voodoo joke, you kind of have to use it twice at least.
Right.
But he had the first part was the same, but he had
Yeah, he had
the second part.
There were some. Yeah, I feel. I have mixed feelings for Farouk because I feel bad for some of the things he has to say.
Yeah.
And someone said the other day on one of the panels, like, we've all seen him at least once look at a card and say, "No way, I'm not reading this."
Or just look at it
like
and
you got to
sigh.
be kidding me. Poor Farouk.
Farouk is on fire.
I would personally love to see Farouk rap the things or sing them. I think it would be really great because it would just add this little extra, showmanship to it, and he could definitely do it, and it'd be awesome. So Farouk, do it.
Someone posted a video. I mean, there was a video of him dancing in between.
Oh yeah. Oh, he has a great time. He was definitely having some of the most fun at the entire event.
His eyes were a little bloodshot.
He was tired. He was
However
working
hot
hard, and it was
he
hot in
appeared.
there too. And he was in a black suit.
The production did a very good job of making Farouk not appear as tired nor as hot and sweaty as he was.
The battle box is remarkably hot.
Yeah, it is.
Little bit behind the scenes bit. So before every single fight we had, Julie was there doing powder makeup on everyone on our team to get
Yeah.
Jason, the pilot of short fuse, head less shiny, get
Yeah.
me from reflecting.
Yeah.
So
Telling
we were
people
getting
to suck
makeup.
their guts in,
Yeah.
I just wore a hat.
But there was makeup being done backstage as we were queuing up to run into the arena, just so we weren't reflecting
you guys
as
went all
much.
out.
We
You're
had
the
to
only
go
team
all out.
who really.
But we do live
did
in Atlanta,
full-
and there's a lot of stuff that is shot in Atlanta. So I had friends that work on different things, and I went to them. I was like, "All right, we're gonna be on TV, and I'm gonna look like a bunch of
So you can
jackholes.
do this for us next
How do I make sure we don't look like a bunch of jackholes?"
Yeah.
And they were like, "You're gonna do this, and then you're gonna do that, and then you're gonna do this, and then you're gonna buy this from me." Okay.
Perfect.
Done.
You should do a tail of the tape how to make up for BattleBots.
We have to get Flag Guy
Special.
in for that because he can talk a lot on how to keep production from hating you.
Oh
Yeah.
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 Oh yeah.
That was one of his Flag Guy's big job, Brandon, is making production not hate us.
Yeah. And he was awesome.
Favorite memory
Favorite
of this
memory?
season?
When we didn't lose.
Yeah. Hey, you didn't lose. Yeah. You survived Invader. That was great.
Ooh. Okay.
They didn't lose.
Mike, you should just go over there.
Yeah, Mike's off camera just trash talking. He thinks he can get away with it.
Definitely the Rakening.
Yeah, the Rakening for us.
I don't think it was our best fight, but for me, it had to be that 4-bar horizontal spinner thing actually working against Cobalt. Because it was such
my
a
God.
crazy
I was so
thing.
impressed.
It was just kind of
It
perfect.
was such a weird thing.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Did you mean to go for the man's tires, or was that just an afterthought?
So that actually, I wanted to go for his chain, but while we were lined up in the staging area to go into the arena, I look over and Dave Molds is having a chat with Matt Maxim of Stinger fame. And I think they were having a little strategy session. All right, what do we do to deal with this spinner? Because they weren't expecting to have to worry about a spinner because they've got this nasty horizontal bar. They were probably just going to go barreling into whoever.
Yeah.
And
They probably should have barreled into you.
And their strategy, they ended up setting up in the box backwards. Like, all right,
Okay.
this will be interesting. I hope we don't flip over when we hit them. And once they started backing into us, I was like, chunk of tire just flew off and nearly hit me in the head. This is working. all right, let's go for it. And from then on, it was just, let's keep trying to hit the back of them, because if they're going to keep feeding that big wedge into me, and all we do is bounce off of it and just plant our bar into their top armor,
it worked.
It works.
Well, you just
I
kinda
think you
ruined
guys
your
were the
strategy. It
most
looked like you had it on
technical
top.
KO.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, like literally
the least
like
expensive loss.
Yes.
It actually wasn't very inexpensive for them. So that last bit of the fight, all of the bolts had sheared off on their top armor, and there was opened up, and our bar got driven into it, and we actually bent the shaft on their brand new E-Tech, which I felt kind of bad about.
Oh, you did. Oh, you're evil.
Yeah, because they were getting counted out, and then they moved, and then we had to go in and keep fighting.
You gotta do it.
And what's really funny is I'm pretty sure I actually hit the torque clutch they were using to spin the bar.
Wow.
And I actually mailed that clutch to Dave a couple months before the event because they can't buy stuff from McMaster.
Oh, yeah.
So I actually bought the thing for him and mailed it to him.
That's funny.
Yeah.
And then hit it with our weapon.
I mean, that
Savage.
just shows how much like we together are some sportsmanship, and we build together, and then once we get into the arena, all the gloves are off.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's
It
not
was-
which
just
is
that on
fantastic.
big
It's
stuff,
so cool.
That on like every bot thing you go to.
Oh,
It's
totally.
Like,
It was really
it's
funny.
like
He was
every
being
event.
super secretive
It's the
about
whole
what
sport.
Cobalt
It's the whole
was at the
sport is
time.
like
Oh
that,
yeah,
which is
he was
fantastic.
trying to hide what Cobalt was.
But then he has me order this torque clutch with a 7/8 inch bore,
Yeah.
and there's only one weapon motor out there that's got that shaft size. So I knew he was doing something with an E-Tech.
Yeah.
I wasn't quite sure what, but given who was on his team, I had a decent idea.
Well, do we have any other questions? All right. Well, I think at an hour and 5 minutes, the stream has probably stopped 7 minutes ago. Well, it'll go up on YouTube, and that's probably how you're watching it now. So yeah, thanks for joining us.
We want season 3, hashtag.
Yeah.
ABC BattleBots.
So yeah, the season's over. We want season 3.
Yeah,
You
hashtag we want season 3.
You want
Hashtag
season
BattleBots season 3.
Yeah. Tag
At ABC.
Yeah. Tag ABC. Tag BattleBots.
Send them postcards.
And yeah, send them postcards.
Snail mail.
You know, carrier pigeon, whatever you got. You know,
Be
you-
obnoxious.
yeah, and you know what? If you're just going about your day, you know, just driving to the grocery store, you say, you know, going to the grocery store at ABC, we want season 3.
Order a
Just
hot
do
dog
it.
pizza. BattleBots.
Yeah, like ordering a
BattleBots.
pizza.
We want
Hey, I
season
just
3
got some
BattleBots.
pepperoni. Hashtag we want season 3.
At ABC.
Yeah, at BattleBots at ABC.
When you're Instagramming your lunch, we want season 3.
Yeah, going to the bathroom, we want season 3.
Number 3, season 3.
Yeah, number 3, season 3. All right. And on that note, I'm calling it. Thanks. We'll be back in the off season. We should do some behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
Some of the more in depth things with the robots, and we should you should do one.
But one last thing to note.
Oh yeah.
We are going to be releasing the full cat of Bombshell on our website.
Woohoo! So
So-
everyone can make their own bombshell at home.
We do advise not to build exactly what we built this season because there's a lot of things we now want to change.
Oh,
If you've got the money.
yeah. If you can find a sponsor.
Go ahead, build last season's Bombshell.
That's right.
All right.
It may not be the best way to get into BattleBots because you'd be applying with exactly the same thing that's already been applied with, which
Yeah.
Can you tell us
May
what
not the
paint
best
you
one.
use?
Yeah.
you'd have to ask Jamie on the team. He was the one who found that particular shade of green that matched the logo, and that actually
Perfect.
took longer than you'd think. It was
Sounds
days
like
of doing
sounds like
paint
yes.
sample testing.
The lighting
Yeah.
and
Well, Trey, we're about to sign off, but do you have anything else you want to add?
Keep building. That's keep thinking, keep building, keep coming up with new ideas. Try to think of something different. There's ways to win BattleBots and not be so brutal. So don't always think that you need to build the biggest hammer or the fastest spinner, or there are ways to do this a little bit differently. So be creative and come up with those ideas and submit it. The place to design and build your robot, you start on the website. It is open. It's been open since season 2.
Yeah.
Still open. You can start building your robot on there. Those things you have to fill out kind of help you think through that process. And we're working on trying to open up the walking class and giving a weight advantage to it. So don't know all the details on that yet, because it's going to be very stringent and it's going to have some rules and stuff. But
Rex told me they were going to come back with wheels for season
Was that what did it?
Yeah, problem is they'll be mounted sideways and they'll spin the wrong direction half the time.
Yeah.
You know what? I mean, that like the first part of this, that Rex is a great example of, you know, an idea that they put all their everything in that one basket, right? And it makes sense not to have to worry about wheels and motors and all the stuff that goes with those. What they did was they made a spinning weapon and flip it back and forth, and there's two motors there, basically. There's one servo and there's one spinning motor, and that's less to break. It's a great idea. There are ways that you know, that could end up being very, very powerful. That did some of the most damage to our floor in our arena than any other robot there. So when they get that dialed in, that's the kind of thinking that you don't necessarily, you know, wouldn't expect. We all kind of laughed at them at first, and now we're kind of looking at them going, okay, maybe there's something there. So, and you know, Overlord, that was my favorite robot. Why? Because he was thinking, I'm gonna switch the other robot off. You know, I'm gonna find that power switch and turn it off. I'm gonna win this way. I'm not gonna win by, you know, having the hardest hammer or the biggest spinning disc. And that's something we're looking for. We want to see creativity. You know, we gave you that thing, you know, the contestants gave that to you because you drove well. Well, you know, other people got them because, you know, they built something really, really cool.
Okay.
Shots fired.
No need to be so poignant. Okay, fine.
Shots fired.
Maybe HyperShock will walk.
More rings.
Well,
More rings. Yeah, we'll walk on rings.
The turtle bot that you posted.
Yeah, we'll make a turtle bot.
So just build, come up with those ideas, put them online, start figuring it out.
Yeah, and I guess in the off season we're gonna try to do some other, maybe not tail of the tape, but some other videos on maybe some of the internals of some of the robots and how we went about some things like drivetrain. If you've never done this before, figuring out the drivetrain is a real challenge. And at this scale, all the different little minutiae of things, you can actually do some really useful stuff. So yeah, this has been Tail of the Tape. Thanks for watching Season 2, and yeah, tweet about Season 3. We want Season 3. And we'll see you soon. Thanks.